In a landmark judgment pronounced yesterday, the Apex Court cleared all the decks for the construction of a Ram temple at the now formerly disputed site in Ayodhya. The Supreme Court awarded the disputed 2.77 acres to the legal entity known as Ram Lalla Virajman. The Apex Court has ordered that central government within the 3 months formulate a scheme for setting up of a trust and hand over the disputed site to it. A suitable alternative plot of land measuring 5 acres will be given to the Sunni Waqf Board.
It is a historic verdict, the verdict of the century that is out. The Supreme Court of India handing over 2.77 acres of the disputed land. Let's have a look at and put things in perspective. It was all about this parcel of land, ladies and gentlemen, 2.77 acres of land, which has been in dispute for more than 5 centuries now. Should we look at India's history from the point of view of invaders, or should we look at our history from our point of view, that is the people who inhabited this land all along and their culture and their history? India is a huge pot of milk, where along with the Parsis, there were many other cultures and many other religions that came in and mixed into it like sugar. And they all became one big jar full of milk, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we are as a country. Sarva Dharma Sambhav, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, these are all aspects and ethos of the culture of this country. Can we maintain that? Let us look at the litigants. Among the litigants, there were 4 who claimed title or ownership or title to this property or this land, this parcel of land that is 2.77 acres, where you had the Babri Mosque, you had the Sita Rasoi, the Ram Chabutra and the Bhandar, and of course that vacant area which was distributed 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 by the Allahabad High Court judgment in 2010. Now the Nirmohi Akhara, Ram Lalla Virajman and of course Sunni Waqf Board, among these litigants, and of course Gopal Visharad, who came said and talked about the right to worship. What happened through the course of the day as far as these judgments and these decisions is the fact that Nirmohi Akhara's right to shebait was given away based on a legal aspect of limitation. We will talk to one legal luminary, and of course we have our guests representing all factions this evening. We'll talk it later. Ram Lalla Virajman and Sunni Waqf Board, between the two, the title had to be settled eventually out of the 4 or 5 claimants. And the decision went in favor of Ram Lalla Virajman because it was established that yes, it's not just a title suit, the matter of faith and belief, but the Sunni Waqf Board was not able to prove adverse possession, that at all points in time there was only namaz that was offered at this structure and in this area. They also said, the court also very clearly said that this entire parcel, this entire court cannot be looked into bits and pieces. It has to be looked at as a composite site. The entire site has to be looked at as a composite site. And if that is the case, then the juristic precedence of the deity, title of the deity stands. That was what was explained. That was what was talked about. Now finally, what will happen is, as we move forward, the litigants, eventually it has now come. And there was also these aspects that underlying this structure, if you look at the Babri structure, there was another structure. This is what the Archaeological Survey of India talked about. So that also tilted the decision away from the Sunni Waqf Board, who claimed that this has been a perennial Eidgah. They said, iske niche to structure hai. 1994, the government then under P.V. Narasimha Rao had given an undertaking to the Honorable Supreme Court that in future, if there is anyhow proven that there was another structure which was an un-Islamic or a non-Islamic structure, then the land will be given to those with whom that structure belonged or was associated. That is the underlying structure. In this case, it was not a specific temple, but it was indeed a temple, an un-Islamic structure. So they said that faith and belief of Hindu says that Ayodhya was also Lord Ram's Janmasthan or birthplace. The other important aspect is only amongst this parcel of land, in this khasra, was the Janmasthan always talked about in Ayodhya. There is no other parcel of land anywhere else in the world or anywhere in Ayodhya where there was a talk of Janmasthan. Now in this, you may say, was that the exact spot? Or was this the site as a composite, which was the Janmasthan of Ram Lalla? Ram Lalla is baby Ram. So that is the aspect. There was proof that Friday namaz of the mosque was not abandoned. But there was also proof that there was never a time when only namaz was offered. Also the question of the structure, that it was not a completely Islamic structure, because you had a masjid in the inner courtyard. पर बाहर तो सीता रसोई, राम चबूतरा और भंडार है. How is that possible? That was also asked and that was also observed by the Honorable Supreme Court. They also said, yes, the concept of the Garbhagriha, despite a metal wall, this being talked about, the worship continuing, all of that was also taken into consideration. But the courts also said, and I think it is important for us to understand, that destruction, demolition of the mosque hurt the sentiment of the people. It hurt the faith and belief of those who are offering namaz there. From 1949, from the time an idol was placed inside, the right to offer namaz was taken away or snatched away from the Muslims. So the Muslim Paksh has been hurt. Somewhere their faith and belief has also been impeded. And that is why, going beyond what was sought, they said there has to be some relief given. So another 5-acre parcel of land will be given to the Muslims to build a mosque. And funds have been allocated for that. And it's been said it has to be done in Ayodhya itself, if possible within the 67 acres that was taken away by the government, or somewhere else in Ayodhya, depending upon where they want it. But it has to be done. Along with that, in the detailed notes and observations is observed that those who demolished the structure or orchestrated the demolition should also be punished. It's a separate case that is still pending, where the punishment has not yet happened. The conviction has not yet happened. Now, all of this was declared and talked about by the Honorable Supreme Court, but they also said the Muslim Paksh could not prove that they had adverse possession of this entire property at all points in time. And that is why the title goes to those who, prior to the mosque coming also and even thereafter, continued to hold and believe that this place was the Janmasthan. Dividing the disputed land doesn't serve the interest of either of the party. And that is how the final outcome said allows the Supreme Court allows Mandir to be built at this structure, but there should also be a masjid in Ayodhya, and the belief of the Muslims should also be upheld, and they should also be compensated somewhere for the destruction of a structure where they were offering prayers, that is namaz.
The verdict in the longest running title dispute